Hi people, welcome back to my channel. I'm just a jealous guy. Just part 2 of people in glass houses. Continuing on from my previous video in regards to Brian's video he uploaded, Bobby the Troll, poor little guy needs another hug. Well, in that video I pointed out well, Brian Smith pointed out in his video how exposing expat scammers had shamed and degraded and whatever a Filipino. I said in my video how Brian Smith had done the same or probably worse to Linda himself, and that his best buddy Dave Tilapia had also made and done similar to Gina and William, the same people Brian said the expat scammers had attacked, and he had attacked them, and also the mother of Brian's first child had also said words about her. So I'm going to continue on. This one's going to be about Elnora from Bahol Eco Farm. Now, Elnora, people don't know, is a young Filipino female. She was Brian's neighbour. She was there alone at times. I think I had a brother there at some times, and I think Elnora was like 4'9" or 5 foot tall, so probably about 40 kilos, wringing wet in size. Brian Smith and Gary and Elnora, Gary's Elnora's husband, he worked in the UK, I believe it was, and they were friendly. They got on. Elnora had there was a video of Elnora going out to the fish pond, the fish pens in the ocean with them, coming to their place, getting some vegetables, getting some tilapia. There was another one, she bought some tilapia off them. So they did get on until they didn't get on. And why didn't they get on? Basically because Elnora stood up to Brian Smith, and Brian Smith, with his narcissistic attitude, doesn't like people saying no to him. He was going on their property filming for his channel. He's going on the property when they weren't there. I think even Gina and that was going up there filming, and they were told not to go there filming, and that's fine. It's Elnora's property. It's her private property. She didn't want them there. That's fine. But she also had a channel, and she was paying people to do work there. So if she wanted to film and put it on her channel, then that was her prerogative, and not have someone going up there when she's not there, filming them and uploading them before she even probably had a chance to film them. So I believe there's also an incident where Brian Smith had asked if they could let trucks come through there to get sand from the plateau to sell sand, and that they'd said no. So that's where it seems to have all fallen apart. From then on, there was Brian Smith had made several comments in regards to Elnora, just snide comments, side comments. There was some incidents. People remember the bee incident where Brian Smith had bought some bees and they were disappearing, and he'd seen, obviously seen a video of Elnora making some homemade organic fruit fly traps and putting them on the trees. And for some reason, because he wouldn't have been able to see them from his property, so he must have seen the video or someone's told him. So he's trumped up there, all 6 foot, 2 or 3 of him, 140 odd kilos. And he's trobbed up there and had a go at Elnora for attracting and killing his bees. The truth of the matter is, his bees were dying and disappearing because he wasn't looking after them properly, and that's why they were dying. Now, I obviously can't go through every incident, but I'm going to go through one incident here. I'm going to read from a transcript from a video Brian Smith uploaded. It's called Working on the Tilapia Ponds. This was uploaded on the 13th of April, 13/4/22. And people remember this. At 8 minutes 37 into the video, and we need to dig a canal all the way down here to at least past the dam, because, you know, no, not trying to badmouth them in any way. So I like it when people start off a comment with, I'm not going to badmouth them, I'm not going to say anything bad about them, but then goes and does it. But I'm not trying to badmouth them in any way. The reason that the whole eco farm is having good success, remember that, good success in their crops, is that they are using pesticides. And they're not playing around with it. All that you see, or you can see, there's a hill there, and all that runoff from their crops is coming into this pond. So we really need to divert that runoff water around this pond. Tilapia are pretty tough, but you know, we are raising these for sale, and I don't think there's probably not much risk of mercury contamination or anything like that, but fish are like water filters, and anything that's in the water they filter through, and it ends up mainly in their liver, but in their kidneys, but in the flesh as well. So this is when Brian Smith had his ponds, built the rice fields into his ponds. Elnora's property goes up a hill, and is saying that she is using pesticides, which Elnora said she was, sparingly, not like Brian says, because she was trying to do it without any pesticides and that, and it was just too difficult with all the pests. So she used pesticides or insecticides, and she said even as sparingly as she could, just to keep the pests down. So that, remember, was on the 13th of April 22. So next video I'm going to read out from, and this canal that Brian Smith was talking about, he dug the canal along the tilapia ponds, so the water from the runoff from the eco farm diverted off into someone else's property, so they could have any poisons, I suppose, that come down. So this video, is uploaded by Brian Smith, Foreigner Farming in the Philippines again. It's called Buying a Sprayer for the Garden, and this was uploaded on the 18th of April. So this is 5 days before, or 5 days after that he uploaded the other video where he's saying how Elnora's spraying pesticides on on her plants, and the runoff from the rain and the water is going into his ponds. So we'll go to 2 minutes 39 in this video, and he's at a small hardware store or something, and he goes, this one is only 5 litres. So he's talking about the sprayer that he's buying. It's only 5 litres, it's just her size. So the earlier mentioned a large backpack one which he's got, it's too heavy for Maricel to spray the plants with. We need to start spraying the impaler, however you say it, the bitter melon, the little wrinkly cucumber things. It's the way to get rid of the worms, and eggplant, getting some worms in those, and the melons. Now, I don't know, it's either the cotton beetle or it's aphids or ants or something. And in the watermelons, pretty common. That happened last time as well. We just need a sprayer. I got the spray 3 or 4 days ago. So remember, this is uploaded 5 days after the previous video where he's talking about Elnora spraying insecticides. But here, he's just bought himself insecticides and he's going to spray all his crops. Now, and he bought the insecticide 3 or 4 days ago. So at the same time he's having a go at Elnora for spraying insecticides, he's going to go and he was planning to do exactly the same thing. So I remember him talking about people being hypocrites in his Gordy Bob video, talking about people being hypocrites. Does that sound hypocritical to you? That he's complaining about some people using insecticides when he's going to do exactly the same thing? And what you've got to consider, these plants, remember he hasn't got the crops down the bottom, he's only got tilapia ponds at this stage. And where are these plants growing? They're growing between the house and the rice fields and his tilapia pond. So when he sprays all them and it rains, and he's done videos on it, where does that water run off to? Most of it's channeled off into his tilapia pond. So his pesticides are going to run off into his tilapia pond, the original tilapia pond, or down the hill and into the others. So did he dig a channel on his side of the ponds to divert that runoff? No, he didn't. So why did he have a go at Elnora when he was doing exactly the same thing? So within a week, he's bagged Elnora for using pesticides, but then he's gone and bought a sprayer and insecticides to spray his own plants and do exactly the same thing that he was saying Elnora was doing, and grizzling his guts out about it. So this one, next video I'm going to read from, it's a live stream uploaded by Brian Smith. It's called Good Morning. It was on the 9th of the 10th 22, and at 2 hours and 8 minutes into the video, you're doing the Begiko farm, as Bing Maria calls it. So he mentions Bing Maria here. Next door has folded up and they've moved. Why? Because they had no idea what they were doing. You know, it takes a little bit of expertise, which I have, which he doesn't really have, and you have to be willing to learn and adapt, which I am. He hasn't learnt to adapt as yet because he's still not having any success. I have that ability as well, and yeah, a successful farm which is only going to become more and more successful. So I was talking about his farm, and sit and spend, boys, which I'm not sure, and girls, I know you just hate it. So he's telling the trolls they hate it because he's going to have a big, successful farm. So the whole eco farm, this was on the 9th of the 10th, 22. When was his other video? 13th of April 21. Was it 22? So 13th of April 22. So working on the tilapia ponds, 13 April 22. This one was 9/10/22. So 6 months after, in that video, he says they are very successful, and the only reason they're successful is they're spraying insecticides on their plants. So are they successful or aren't they successful? That's the question. So in here, again, is trying to bag them out because they don't know what they're doing, but he does, and he's going to have a highly successful farm. And this is in October 22, so we're talking, what, 4 months ago, and still hasn't shown us where the success is yet. So that's what I just wanted to show on that his hypocrisy. One video, when it suits him, is saying how successful they are, and it's only because they use poisons on their plants. But then 6 months later, they're not successful because they don't know what they're doing. So, hypocrite, yeah. Now the next one is from 3 different videos. It's a sequence over 3 weeks. So the first one is the 9th of the 10th, 22. Someone asked some questions about their neighbour. A good neighbour, funnily enough, we don't have any bad neighbours anymore because someone moved in the dead of the night several days ago. So this is on the 9th of the 10th, they moved several days, only just moved out in the dead of the night. Okay, he's talking about Elnora and the Bohol Eco Farm. So, dead of the night? Why would Elnora leave in the dead of the night? This is what he did with Mitch, remember? Mitch had shot the dog, but he had to leave the Philippines shortly after. No, I showed you that it was at least 5 months. Minimum 5 months, so it wasn't shortly after at all. Just tried to create this persona that Mitch had committed the offence, paid off everyone, gone home, packed his suitcase, and then quickly got and jumped on the plane to leave the Philippines. Well, that wasn't true, and nor is this true. It's a wonder he didn't say that Elnora was pushing her her multi-cab down the road so she didn't wake anyone up in the dead of the night. So the very next week on his live stream, so that's on the 9th of the 10th, the very next week on his live stream, also called Good Morning, on 16th of the 10th, he says at 36:35, is the property next door for sale? So he's asked a question. Yes, the property next door, if you're referring to the Begico farm, as I forgot who coined that term. You forgot who coined that term? Well, just 1 week before, straight off the top of his head, he said it was Bing Maria. So, again, he's just full of crap. As I forgot who coined that term is already sold, and the persons are long gone and good riddance. So, he's talking about the whole eco farm. They've long gone. They'd left the previous week in the dead of the night, remember? So then the very next week in his live stream, also called Good Morning, 23rd of the 10th, and he's talking about Nerio. Someone asked about Nerio and that. And he says Nerio's working up at the eco farm. So at 27 minutes 41, we don't have any easy work for him to do, and so I think I've seen him going over our Look, the Baguio farm is sold. We've got new neighbours over there. They've been changing a lot of things around, and there's been cleaning up, making it the way they want it. And there's been truckloads of stuff coming and loads of stuff going out, and chainsaws and hammering, lots of stuff going on. So in that video, it says the new neighbours are there. So this is over 3 separate weeks. So 1 week they've left in the dead of the night several days ago. Then the next one he says, yes, it's been sold, and they've gone. And in the third video he says the new neighbours are there. So again, he's making it look like they've gone in the dead of the night, like they've done something wrong, like they need to sneak out, which is totally not true. But and he tries to put this persona on that people have done things wrong when they have to like sneak around and be sneaky and sneak out at the dead of the night and when people aren't looking and that. But what happens when you sell a block? You decide to sell the block, make the decision, you then decide to get an agent or do it yourself. If you get an agent, they come around, they evaluate it, it goes on the market. Then you wait for someone to come and have a look at the property. They come and make an offer. Then you negotiate that offer. And then once you've decided on a price, if you decide on a price, then you do the paperwork. Then you decide on a date for the current occupants to go and the new occupants to come in. So isn't that exactly what's just happened here? The property's been for sale. It's been sold. Then they've obviously given a date for Elnora to be out and the new owners to be in. But he has to make it some sort of sleazy, creepy deal that they've had to sneak out in the dead of the night. All it is, Elnora's left, the new people have come in. That's it. That's as simple as it is. And he has to make some big fantasy sort of story about it. So, that, I think I'll leave it there. I had a little bit more to do. It's gone 20 odd minutes now. So I'm going to leave it there. Give me your comments. So I think I've shown in these videos that Brian Smith actually also not only attacked Linda, Filipino, he's attacked an Elnora, a Filipino, and tried to shame her, tried to degrade her, and tried to basically turn his viewers against her. Because that's what he does. He has all these little snide comments. So he turns his viewers against her, many of whom were friendly towards her until he started to put all these comments about her. And then they basically turned against Elnora as well. So, like I said, put in your comments. I think I've shown that Brian Smith has attacked, defamed, shamed, degraded, whatever you want to call it, another Filipino. So this the second one I've shown that he has degraded. He doesn't care about other people that he associates with degrading, shaming, abusing Filipinos. But there's still more to come. So hang around for the next video. Subscribe, hit the notification button, thumbs up, thumbs down, and share it if you want. Okay, thank you.